Lewis. Let's mark out.
Yes, y'all. Welcome to the first edition of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast Live. I don't know how this is going, Lewis. I see the live recording right now on our platform. We might be on YouTube. Listen, we just we're just rolling with this right now. But welcome to episode 58 of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. I'm your boy Kyote, joined by the administrator himself, the one and only Lewis. Lewis, what's happening?
It's happening, man. All the happenings around the world of wrestling, the funky world of wrestling that we love so much. We've got people release. We've got people returning or debuting, I should say.
Yeah.
We've got pay-per-views, PLEs on the horizon. And we haven't even touched the surface of SummerSlam yet.
We haven't touched SummerSlam yet.
Yeah, so it's quite an eventful summer, a kickoff to the summer.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you right now, yo, that Money in the Bank lineup is shaping out to be
pretty good.
They've made Money in the Bank probably the fifth most important PLE in the company.
Yeah, it's officially become one of the top 5. So traditionally, as WWE fans, we're used to the big 4, but this is pretty much like one of the big 5 now because they do it as like a whole weekend international type of affair. Mm-hmm. So Money in the Bank has just become that one gimmick pay-per-view that I don't think will ever go away. They've done away with Hell in a Cell, TLC, Breaking Point, all those other ones. Mm-hmm. But I think Money in the Bank stays just because the concept has just always worked. It's always been popular. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to believe it's been around for 18 years now.
Damn, 18 years?
Yes, since 2006. Well, actually, since 2005, so it's almost 20 years.
Yeah, because it started as like a battle royal at Mania, right? Was that?
It started out as a Money in the Bank ladder match in 2005 when WrestleMania 21 was in Hollywood. So yes, it's 2005, and Edge cashed it in 2006.
Yes.
So basically, 19 years, almost 2 decades.
Damn,
but the merchandise sells. Because we've been to live events where we see people carrying the little lunch box.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might want one. I might want one of those briefcases, man. Have it hanging in the back right now. Like I don't know. There's something about it that makes me kind of want it. I don't. I don't.
That'd be cool, but you wouldn't catch me walking around to an event with it. No, absolutely not.
No, I can't do that. No. I'm carrying the belt, and that's it. There's just the winged eagle championship belt. That's what I'm carrying, man. We got to do that next time. The dual belts. We gotta interview people and be like, yo, which one
do you think is better?
Yeah. That would have been so good in LA, man.
You know, people are gonna say the Attitude Era belt. That belt is always over, man. It's over like no tomorrow. Everywhere I go with that title, and you've witnessed this on a couple of occasions.
But
everybody's like, "Yo, that's the best belt." Yo, that Attitude Era, but yo, I'm feeling the belt, man. That's the best belt.
But to be fair, I didn't have the Winged Eagle Championship with me, so we can't say that the Attitude Era belt would have won out. I think people seeing it in person would have been like, oh, okay. I think I remember growing up watching a bunch of my guys holding that title. I don't know. I'm very confident about it. I think
that's a challenge. That sounds like a challenge to me.
That's a challenge, man. But yo, let's get right into the show, man. This past Monday, we had your girl. I don't even know if there's a name for her, but I guess Nikki Cross. We're assuming it's Nikki Cross. Deliver a box to Michael Cole with a VHS in it. I laughed because I was like, a VHS. Someone's gonna have to run that joint to the truck, and hopefully the truck's got a VHS. But it was a VHS of your boy Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas just kind of having a discussion about the late great Bray Wyatt. And I got to tell you, man, I didn't know what to make of it at first, but your boy Bo has some acting chops. That was so convincing.
Absolutely.
But you know what made it convincing is because it's just pure emotion based on real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what a revealing, vulnerable. Like we're talking like this is like pure acting here. Like this could be an Emmy, so Emmy nominated. But I thought it was compelling, man, and I loved the dichotomy of Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas just sitting there having a conversation about his brother, the legacy, and what he wants to do moving forward. It was Lewis. It was some good stuff, and I'm assuming you thought the same thing.
It was great. I thought it was a scene right out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like the whole found footage thing with the VHS. First of all, the VHS, that was such a nice touch. And Michael Cole acknowledging to the viewers, like, hey, for all you young fans, this is called the VHS. I thought that was awesome because it's just different. You know what I mean?
Different.
It's different. And but I think the presentation of it was phenomenal.
Right.
Bo Dallas cut such a great promo. It was so convincing that I didn't even think it was a promo. Like it just felt like you touched upon it. It felt like it was just all shoot. Like it was reality based because his brother actually died. Like the first question in that interview was, "How have you been feeling?" or something to that effect. Since your brother died.
Since your brother.
I was like, wait, what? So
they were going there.
Right. They went there. We actually are acknowledging in storyline, the whole Bray Wyatt death. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was very well acted. Yes. I know there was real life emotion into it, but if I'm flipping channels on as it's airing live on TV, and I came across that segment, and I had no clue that it was Monday Night Raw, I would have asked myself, "Oh wow, what horror movie is this? Who's this actor?" That's how good it was. So props to just the whole production of it. Props to Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy. Like it was so well produced. I couldn't, and I think the praise has been unanimous all throughout social media, and the fans are just responding to it very positively. So now, we'll see how they continue to cook with this storyline. But that shit was great.
Now we loved it, and like you said, I listened to a lot of wrestling journalists and big wigs out there saying they loved it also. But then I also heard some say, what was the point, and where does this lead? Right. And I think
that's always going to be the question, though.
Right. And I think you mentioned this last week when we had our guest Streamin' Joe on the show. I think you mentioned this. It can't take long for us to realize the intentions of the Wyatt Sicks.
Right.
It can't take long, right? And people are not confident about how the in-ring work is going to how that's going to be with a group like this. Listen, this is a Triple H, Bo Dallas, and other major creatives' brainchild. This is not Bray and McMahon. This is very different. This is in a different company. This is a different vibe. And I'm going to stay very, very optimistic about this. I'm gonna stick with it. But I thought this week's segment with Bo and Uncle Howdy was solid. And I think it all made sense because now we see the man behind the mask actually. Like we actually see it's Bo, right? So I think it's just, Triple H does a thing where he does breadcrumbs and he gives you a little bit each week, and each week there's going to be something different. So I'm staying optimistic about this, man. How about you?
I'm continuing to stay cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I think this shouldn't. So the supernatural horror movie-esque part of this whole shtick needs to. It can't really go past 4 to 5 weeks. Because I think at that point, the fans will start to get restless. Where is this going? We already seen this on multiple occasions with Bray Wyatt. God rest his soul. But that it just led to frustration because after a while, you didn't know what Bray Wyatt's purpose was. Mm-hmm. So I just don't want it to be that situation where the Wyatt Sicks is The theatrics are great. The production is great. It's haunting. It's eerie. It's ominous. But at the end of the day, this is a wrestling company. This is pro wrestling. So what are you guys doing in the ring? How are you introducing each member of the Wyatt Sicks as in-ring competitors? Because that's ultimately why you're in the company. You're in-ring competitors. You have all these other things, all these bells and whistles, but when it comes down to the nitty and gritty, are you capable of main eventing an episode of Raw?
Yeah.
Main eventing a PLE? Winning the Royal Rumble? You know, these are things that WWE contracted superstars do. Yeah. So are they about it, or are they just going to continue?
About it, yes.
about it.
Are they about it? Yeah, man. We listen.
You know,
we shall see. And I'm, you know, right now we don't know much. We're just kind of going for the ride, and I think this is what it's meant. I think it's meant to just take us on a ride, but I need to see some in-ring work. I need to see what they're doing. And I think we're going to get that sooner than rather than later. And I think if it's not at Money in the Bank, well, probably not at Money in the Bank. It'll probably we definitely need to get something at SummerSlam. Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is going to be the angle of the summer for the company. Right. Yeah. You know, you got your world title feuds with Cody Rhodes and Gunther challenging.
Who is Gunther?
Damian. Yeah,
Damian
assuming that he wins. Against Seth. But yeah, you know, all those storylines aside, the Wyatt Sicks angle, that is the number one angle or the hottest angle of this summer that the fans are tuning into. I know going forward for the rest of the summer, I want to tune into Raw just to see the Wyatt Sicks.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm talking in real time. Like, I want to see the Liv Morgan and Dominic stuff. I want to see everything else that they're doing, but I really, really want to see, like, the draw for me for this summer is going to be the Wyatt Sicks angle.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you 100%. That is the draw right now, is what the hell is this group all about? And I think they're missing somebody. They're missing one person, and I think that person is possibly Alexa Bliss. There's just been too much talk about her return. She's been filming herself in the gym, and you realize when stars are starting to come back, when they're starting to be super active on social media, when they really wasn't. She has been. So I think that might be the final piece of this equation, which would be dope. But I also want to know why these individuals joined this, right? Why did Joe Gacy do this? Why is Rowan back doing this? His story would probably be easier to tell.
Right? His makes sense.
You know, and the other guy, Dexter Loomis. Why did you join this group? I hope it's not ignored that these are professional wrestlers that have now that are just in mask and now are under this. You know, we're kind of following this guy, this leader. I hope that's not ignored, because if that's ignored, then it's going to pull me out of it, because they were a part of that world, of this universe. So to pretend that they never were is kind of weird to me. So
that'll be super tacky.
We'll see, man. But what's not tacky, man? We got some people leaving the company, some by choice, some not. Let's get to Kayla Braxton tomorrow, Friday. And if some of you are watching this or listening to this probably Kayla's last show on SmackDown will probably already happen, but we're talking about it. Kayla Braxton, last SmackDown ever, or just for a while, maybe. Who knows? She might come back. But she's gone. She's leaving the company to do her own thing. You and I, Lewis, talked about this a little bit today, and you know, I think Kayla. Also, like you mentioned, Kayla was a little undervalued in a way. I think she was good, very good actually. I think they could have done a lot more with her in terms of just backstage interviews and whatnot, but they got a lot out of her with Heyman and that whole dynamic, which was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
But I think this is a loss for a talent that 8 years is a long time, but that could have done even more. Maybe even some ring announcing, like in terms of being a Samantha Irwin in another maybe NXT or whatever. I don't know if she's ever wanted to do that, or if she has done that, she probably has. But very interesting with her leaving, and then Dijak, his contract not being renewed. And if you check on our Instagram on the Mark Wrestling Podcast on the Instagram, Lewis posted the statement released by Dijak, and again, Dijak was on a roll. He's had, to me, nothing but great matches his entire run.
Yeah.
Maybe one not great, but it doesn't blow out all the great ones. And I thought he was going somewhere with this. I thought something was happening. Didn't he get drafted? Like, he got drafted?
Yeah.
He got drafted and all this stuff. And then in his statement, he says they decided not to move on with this or re-sign him. And I was just very confused. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I think they fumbled again the ball with someone who to me, as a big man, has some major upside. Not only the look, not only the dedication to the craft, but also the dude can wrestle and he can talk.
Yeah.
I was very confused by that. Lewis, what's your thoughts on the Kayla and the Dijak of it all?
I have more thoughts on Dijak than Kayla Braxton, just because Dijak is in ring talent. But Kayla was definitely a very solid backstage interviewer. She was very effective in her role. She was attractive. Yeah. And I noticed that as of late, she started losing weight. Yeah. I mean, she looks great. I think she's in the best shape from what I've seen from her in her tenure in WWE.
Definitely.
I don't know where she goes from here, but I think she'll be fine in all her future endeavors. I think if she takes the route that that other former backstage interviewer that she went on to do ESPN, Charlie something.
Oh, Charlie.
Yeah, Arnold.
Arnold or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget her last
name. I like.
But anyway,
I'm a fan of Charlie. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She was fabulous in her role. But she's doing great things in ESPN. So maybe if she wants to stick to sports journalism, Kayla, that is, she could follow in those footsteps and do something for a sports company, but best of luck to her. It's definitely a loss, but it's like she said, she knows that she can be replaced.
Right.
And then again, she was hired under the Vince McMahon regime.
That's true.
So there could be things that she just didn't want to be associated with, or I'm just speculating, but that could very well be the case. But shout out to Kayla Braxton in any case. Dijak, that was very surprising. The letter that he posted on Twitter /X. When someone is writing a fleshed out letter, like detailing their experience and why they're leaving a company, it hurts them because they're putting in a lot of effort into a long post like that. And it wasn't, he didn't type. I mean, it wasn't like a Google document, it was a piece of paper and he's showing himself signing, the release.
Very creative too, by the way.
I don't think I'd ever seen someone do it that way.
Signing a release with your thoughts of and he said he had a lot of creative ideas and they just kind of ignored them. Yeah. My guy seems like he's got some ideas, and AEW is a spot that you could just, what you got on the paper, we could probably do it. So, and your boy Tony Khan is creeping on the X and looking at the post. So
he was one of the people that liked the photo. Dijak was very good. He was one of the more underrated talents that the roster had.
Yeah,
the bangers that he had with Keith Lee on NXT were phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he and Keith Lee could have headlined WrestleMania. My boy Rob had commented on our post and said the same thing. Shout out to Rob Ace, by the way.
Yes.
But Dijak, that was huge missed opportunity by WWE. He's got the size, he's got the look.
Yeah,
he's kind of charismatic. He's no
He's no Rock.
He's no Rock. I was gonna say he's not as flamboyant as a Seth Rollins, but you could have done so much with him.
Yeah,
you could have put him in tandem with Gunther. They could have been feuding against each other for the IC title back when Gunther was holding it. If Gunther wins the world title, you could have had Dijak on the up and up as a number one contender for the world title. I mean, there's so many ways, there's so many things you could have done with him, and WWE could use guys like that because you always need someone that's sitting in the mid card to the upper mid card that's ready to be pushed and thrusted into the main event scene.
Yes.
But you're gonna let Dijak go? Like, come on, man. This is crazy. It's crazy. Now your trash is another man's treasure because assuming he signs with either Tony Khan or TNA, his career is just gonna be even better. If you ask me, I think he should go to TNA. Only because TNA doesn't have as big of a roster as AEW, and AEW unfortunately has built up the reputation that whoever they sign just gets lost in the shuffle. Yeah. Because they just have too many people.
Just too many. Yeah.
A la WCW. You know what I mean? So if I'm Dijak, I would entertain going to TNA. But if AEW is willing to throw out all that cash, I would take an AEW contract. But
not a bad look.
Dijak is going to have a good future. I can already see it.
Yeah. And even if homeboy, and I don't even know if New Japan is the place you even would want to go now, right? Like it's kind of they're in a rebuild themselves. So TNA, AEW, is NWA still a thing? The NWA? Yeah,
he could potentially do something in NWA. I mean, there's NWA, there's MLW, there's so many places to work. He could just, he can mess around and just stick with the indies. But I think Dijak is a little bigger than that, so that's why I'm thinking TNA maybe TNA. Yeah.
I that's a good look. TNA. That's a good look for him because he can. And again, he could. Well, here's the thing, right? He could go to TNA, right? But TNA now has this partnership with WWE, which is very interesting. He could go into TNA, kill it, right? TNA could be like, "Yo, listen, we'll give you full creative control. What do you want to do? Give us ideas, and then kill that." And WWE can see that and maybe kind of sneak him back in for some stuff. And then from there, maybe get like, who knows? The craziest thing could happen. I think he just needs to go somewhere else to prove to everybody that he is that guy. And, listen, I was talking to guys on Instagram about this. It's unfortunate because Dijak is one of the guys who I truly believe, aside from like a Keith Lee that they fumbled the ball with, that this guy could have been, like you said, upper to mid card and just be ready to go when someone else is up at the top and they want to move somebody in. So like you said, Dijak should have a decent career, man. And so bigs up to Dijak, and Kayla, thank you for your service. Now peace out. Peace out.
Peace out.
Now let's get to my favorite part of this this show. The administrator's report. This is a new thing we're doing every show. Your boy Lewis, the administrator himself, will bring you the administrator's report, mostly on AEW's ratings because that seems to be the growing topic of concern. But could be some other stuff too. But right now, we're going to bring you the AEW ratings. Administrator's report. What you got?
So for the administrator's report, AEW Dynamite's television rating has rebounded in a nice way, K-Weezy.
Oh, okay.
680,000 in comparison with the 502,000 from 2 weeks ago on Juneteenth.
Yikes.
That is a very nice rebound. So they're hovering around what they were doing more or less.
Gotcha.
But I want to touch upon the 502 number because that was abysmal.
That was scary. Yeah, that was scary.
Look, there are reasons for why they scored such a low number because it was a federally recognized holiday. The Juneteenth is
black people were out that day, man. We ain't home. We weren't home.
Listen, everybody was out. You ain't even have to be black, Spanish, Asian, white. You were out of work and you had your cookouts or you were sleeping all day. Yeah. But yeah, it's a federal holiday, and Juneteenth is still relatively new as far as being nationally recognized, but people are getting into the gist of, hey, ain't no work, so let's celebrate the historical significance as well as have a cookout, blah blah blah, whatever. Mm-hmm. So people probably just weren't watching for one reason or another, related to Juneteenth activities. But on Juneteenth, Kendrick Lamar also had his iconic, now historic pop-up show. And that was streamed on Amazon, and that was a big deal. I mean, I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. I love Kendrick. So for something like that, I probably would have watched that over an episode of AEW Dynamite.
Yeah.
So there's those reasons or excuses, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the kicker. That week, the day before Juneteenth, NXT drew a viewership of over 700,000.
Ooh.
So I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like they outdrew AEW by 200,000 that week.
Wow.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. There's only so many excuses we can have for AEW.
True, man.
But they, like I said, they rebounded nicely this week. They're almost at 700,000 again. Yeah. I think they did around the same number as NXT. NXT drew its lowest number in the month of June. But that's okay because NXT's numbers are high all around. They're higher this time. They're higher right now than this time last year for NXT.
Okay.
So good news for NXT, but AEW, I'm concerned. I think the interest in the product overall, just when we thought they were turning a corner about 5 months ago, with the rebranding of the logo and the big signings and stuff, there's just not a lot of interest. And one of the podcasts has said something. They hit on a good point. They said that right now AEW is not the hot product where it's being presented as can't miss TV. You know what is hot? Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, because WWE right now, the stuff that they're doing is very compelling. And that's the stuff that fans want to tune in to see. AEW is not where it was 2 or 3 years ago. So unfortunately, people are just not that excited to be like, oh, it's Wednesday night, I got to tune into Dynamite. Even myself, I've been a supporter of Dynamite from day one, from the premiere of Dynamite back in October. You know what? Even when they first announced AEW and the first Double or Nothing pay-per-view, I've always been a supporter.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
However, lately I don't prioritize Dynamite as much as I once did. Like, Wednesday night I carve out time, but it doesn't have that can't miss, must see TV feel that it once had.
Not anymore. So it's tough, man, because you got the low ratings and compound that with like half full arenas where they got to light it differently. They got to do weird angles.
I know the lighting kills me, man.
Dude, man, it's like, wow. Like one whole section is just nobody's in it. Like your whole top bowl, there's nobody in it. Meanwhile, WWE is gliding cams and drones through the audience and everything's full. And you're right. AEW is just not the hot product right now. WWE is doing some crazy, compelling, exciting. You don't know what you're going to get every week. You got the Wyatt Sicks on one show. You got the new Bloodline, Jacob Fatu.
Oh, yeah. Jacob Fatu.
On another show. Man,
it's hot. Everything that WWE is doing is hot right now.
It's hot. I you can't deny it. They're going to be in the Garden. SmackDown is in the Garden tomorrow. I was going to attempt that show, Lewis. I went to Ticketmaster's StubHub. Those tickets are bananas.
I can imagine. You ought to check tomorrow.
Bananas, Lewis.
You ought to just check tomorrow.
I should check tomorrow. I don't even know if that's going to make a difference, Playboy.
Wow.
I think WWE is on a level right now, which is good for them in business. Yeah. But they're at a level right now where it's like, okay, you might have to plan ahead of time to buy those tickets and get good seats. Like, you can't wait anymore. Like, it's getting to the point where you can't wait anymore. And this is going to be the true test of see what this creative leadership does by next WrestleMania. Those tickets could be close to possible Super Bowl ticket types, right? Where your normal seats are now going for $1,000 a night. Your normal seats, Lewis, going for $1,000 per night. It is getting to that point where these events will be looked at as Super Bowl caliber and will be charging that because people want to see the product. And if it stays hot, it's a good chance of that, man. It's a good chance. You know what that means?
I ain't going.
Yeah, we ain't going. That's exactly what that means, man. That's exactly what.
No, but you know, there's ways around that kind of stuff. Like, you go to the city that it's hosted in, right? And you either attend one night of Mania, or you don't attend Mania at all and watch it at a bar or some type of viewing party, and then just go to everything else. Like, go to Ring of Honor,
go to everything,
go to GCW, go to Wally Mania, just go to everything else but WrestleMania.
You're gonna do every single event but that.
How hilarious, man.
That'd be hilarious, man. But we getting there, man. They'll lose. I'm gonna check tomorrow, though.
Check tomorrow for shits and giggles.
I'm gonna check about 4 p.m. Right, and see what happens because, those tickets.
Would you go
if it was a decent seat for between 80 and 150, but it's got to be like a decent seat. I highly consider it. But it's got to be like. It's got to be pretty decent. I can't be up in the 300 400 section for $200. No. No.
And it's only SmackDown. It's not even a PLE.
Right. It's only SmackDown, bro. Like, but I'm just curious what it was going to look like tomorrow. But what's looking to be shaping up pretty well is this AEW's Forbidden Door, and I got my Kenny Omega shirt on right now, who I'm predicting, and it's a long shot. It's a very big long shot, but I'm predicting he's the wild card in that.
Oh, really? He didn't even cross my mind.
That's my prediction. It's probably completely wrong. People are predicting Hangman. People are predicting Ricochet, but Ricochet's contract officially doesn't end till some part of July. So that's not possible. So Hangman is probably the winner in this, but could Kenny be back? I don't know, but Forbidden Door is this Sunday, Lewis? This Sunday, and we got the card, and there's just 2 matches I'm really interested in. Just 2. You got your Swerve and Ospreay, of course. I mean, that match should be legendary.
They're gonna tear the house down, and it's
gotta be crazy.
I'm gonna be away for the weekend, but I'm gonna try my absolute best to at least catch the main event. At least that match and it's Tony Storm, versus Mina.
What's her name? Mina
Shirakawa.
Mina Shirakawa.
Shirakawa. Yeah,
who I think is phenomenal in all aspects. Like, she could wrestle.
She's awesome.
She could talk. Bully Ray said something very interesting, that she brings a sense of sex appeal that we haven't seen in wrestling a long time, especially in AEW.
Yeah.
I think she should stick around for a while also, to tell you the truth. Like, I think if she's going to be around, she needs to be around, because I think she brings some energy, a life to that women's division that is
absolutely
very stagnant. But those 2 matches are the matches I'm kind of looking forward to. Everything else is going to be cool, but those 2 matches have been the matches that have the best story and development So that's where I'm at with that, Lewis. What do you think of this Forbidden Door? Is it going to be good? Is it just a bunch of... Should Forbidden Door still be a thing if AEW has basically all the big names already signed? Like,
yeah,
will Forbidden Door just go away? What do you think, man?
First of all, I think the pay-per-view is going to be very solid, like it always is. You know, this is the third installment of Forbidden Door, and the last 2 years have been great. We've got bangers after banger after banger.
Yeah.
But I think the concept of the Forbidden Door has run its course, because we are now seeing WWE is open to crossover things.
Yeah, man.
And those kinds of collaborative opportunities with other companies such as TNA. You know, you just saw Jordan Grace show up in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Forbidden Door is as forbidden as it once was 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
So I would like to see the pay-per-view just completely revamped, retooled in terms of the title. I don't think it needs to be called Forbidden Door anymore.
No.
You can call it something else. But it's not forbidden. You know what I mean? It's not that much of a taboo that Tetsuya Naito is going to face Jon Moxley. Because Jon Moxley beat him, you know, for the IWGP title.
Yeah.
So that's a match I'm really looking forward to too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And then you also got the ladder match for the TNT title.
Yeah, that should be interesting too.
That should be good, because I'm curious to see who they put the belt on.
Do you think Jack Perry? You think
that would make the most sense?
Right.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. I think overall it's going to be very solid, and I'm looking forward to seeing who the wild card is, because you threw out Hangman Page and Quixote. I gotta say, I'm feeling Hangman's presence. I forgot that he was gone, but I'm also feeling the fact that he's not there. So we took his star power for granted, my friend. He adds value to. He just does. You know what I mean? Him, Britt Baker, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole. Those are 4 huge names that we may have taken for granted that the AEW is kind of suffering without them, bro. Those are 4 big names that were really crucial for the company.
Now, do you think Britt makes any sort of return at this PLE, or do you think we don't get Britt back until All In or around the All In?
I don't know, man. Hard to say. If you're gonna bring her back at Forbidden Door, you better be able to have a compelling feud with her and Mercedes, or I don't know. It's got to be for the title. You can't just have like a non-title feud.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And I would think Mercedes versus Britt Baker has money written all over it.
Oh, hell yeah, that's got money written all over it. Now, man.
Now, whether the match is good, that's a whole different story.
That's a different story. But you know, Britt's on social media. She's gotten in better shape. I mean, she looked fine before, but now she's in even better shape. She looks smaller. She looks more like athletic. So she's training. She ain't just training to train. She's training to come back. And I think the perfect time to probably get her back in is a Forbidden Door, right? Like, just think about it, like, oh, Forbidden Door. Like, who could be walking through it now? It's Britt's back, kind of thing, right? Because you want the month of July, in my opinion, you want the month of July to be the month, if it's going to be a Britt and Monet, Mercedes. You want that month to kind of build that up, and then All In, boom, that's a huge marquee match.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call it, man. I'm going to say big return at Forbidden Door will be Britt Baker. I'm calling it now. And if it doesn't happen, my takes are off. All my takes are off. But yeah, Hangman, you know, he took time off for some personal reasons he didn't disclose, and I think it's time for him to come back. I don't like the start and stop with Hangman. I don't know what's going on in Hangman's life, where he comes back for a great amount of time and leaves for a big chunk of time that comes back. Homeboy's got to be a little more consistent for me to think of him as one of the greats, especially in this company. Mm-hmm. He's done great matches. He's had great matches. We know he can go, but he's got to be more consistent in the longevity. it's got to show through your consistency on being booked and being on shows. So we'll see. But that's been the rumor that wild card is your boy Hangman. So I don't know, man. You think this pay-per-view will be solid?
Yeah, AEW always has solid pay-per-views. Pay-per-view events are not an issue for AEW whatsoever. Yeah. They put out. So the funny thing about AEW is that we get pay-per-view quality matches on a weekly basis, just about whether it's on Dynamite or Collision or even Rampage.
True.
Because Rampage Once in a Blue has those pay-per-view quality-esque matches. But I think as far as putting together a complete and solid pay-per-view event that's one, worth the money of the paying consumer watching at home, and two, worth the money of the people in attendance. They just it always gels. There's very few times where I would say, that pay-per-view was just mid. Right. But most of their pay-per-views are B+ and higher.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna be fine, and I'm expecting some surprises, like you said, some surprise returns. But the biggest question is who wins between Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland.
Lewis.
Who walks out? That's the big question. Who walks out of Forbidden Door as world champion? Do we get Swerve retaining and then they run that match back at All In, or do they just give it to Ospreay? Or is it too early?
You cannot give it to Ospreay, man. I'm sorry.
I say Swerve retains. Yeah. I really think Swerve retains.
This is how I'm booking this, man. It's very simple. I'm a huge Ospreay fan. I love him. He's got charisma. He's the guy. He's going to be the guy, right? You can't do that to Swerve. I'm sorry. Swerve to me is not a transitional champion. Swerve is your first black champion, and he's a great wrestler. He's got the look. His talking is but he's cool though, right? Like he's got everything else. He's got he's got all of it, right? You can't do that to Swerve, man. You just can't. You can't. I think that would make Swerve look real expendable. like you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't put Swerve, it doesn't put Swerve in a great light, right?
No.
I think they go out there, they have a banger after banger after banger. They have a banger, right? Swerve goes over, and you run that bad boy back at All In, and that's where Swerve will drop it. You give Swerve these next couple months to big himself as champion. He beat him. You give this rivalry right here the 2 matches that it deserves, and you have those guys go out back in England and kill it in front of 60,000-70,000 people for Ospreay's crowning of being champion. And that loss that Swerve will take will do nothing to diminish anything, because he won the first one. He's held the title now for a significant amount of time, and he's still a big player in the company. What you do with him creatively, I have no idea. I don't know if you're going to have him continue chase. I don't know if you swerve him over. You see what I did there? You swerve him over to another challenger who's big, or another feud that's big. You could do that, right? And then Swerve kind of circles back to the championship. Who knows? But Swerve cannot lose at Forbidden. He just can't. It's too soon. I don't agree with it. Ospreay should go. Ospreay should not win. You will hurt Swerve a little bit if that happens. That's my book.
I agree. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, give him 2 matches, and it goes down in Wembley. Big match, number 2. But then what happens is, because this will now open the door for Swerve to go back for that title, is now they got to split 1-1. Someone's got to win the third to prove the best, and that's where Swerve can be on the chase and to get back to it. Not even a chase, but just to get back to it. So we'll see how Tony. Listen, man, that's a hell of a booking issue, right? I would love to be in the room and hear how they're coming up with this. What Swerve thinks, what Ospreay thinks, what Tony's thinking, what other creatives thinking. I would love to hear that. because that's a hard booking situation, man. Because part of you want to just throw in an Ospreay because he's so hot right now. He's the guy. But Ospreay also has 2 titles. He'll have 2 titles. I don't want to see that. I want to see the World Heavyweight Championship held by one man with 1 title and make that the title that is the most important title. If he holds 2, the other one is taking away the shine from the title, from the heavyweight championship. That's it's I don't want to see that, right? So unless Ospreay, and this is where it makes sense, right? Because Ospreay, when he loses at a Forbidden Door, he will have time to then drop that international title to someone else, which will then leave him open to win it clean in Wembley. So Ospreay, between now and then, if he's chasing that title, will drop that international title so he can go on and win that in at All In.
That makes perfect sense because he doesn't need the international title.
That makes perfect sense. There is no value to that title. There's nothing. They need to either trash it or combine it with some other championship that's out there, like the one that Okada's holding, and just make it 1. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they do that. Maybe they do the Okada Ospreay.
Ooh.
And combine the titles because they're basically the same title.
Ospreay and Okada, man, shades of their New Japan stuff. Ooh. Oh man.
Does that happen in July at their next pay-per-view, which I don't know what it is, but that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting, man. Anything else, Lewis? Anything else we need to cover, man? I think we hit all the points.
Well, if the viewers are listening to this after tomorrow, I would have already attended the GCW event here in Houston.
Oh, snap.
They're coming to Houston. GCW No Sleep, also airing on Triller and Fight TV, which I didn't even realize they air all their events on Fight TV and all that. But yeah, I'm excited, man. This is Zilla Fatu's return to his hometown here in Houston, Texas. For those of you who don't know, Zilla Fatu is the younger sibling of the Usos. His dad was the late great legendary Umaga. So
wait, his dad was Umaga?
Yeah, I think his dad was Umaga.
Oh, so then he's the cousin.
Wait, he's the cousin, not the sibling.
Yeah, not the sibling. Yeah. No, he's the cousin.
No, because then otherwise the dad would have been Rikishi.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's the cousin. Okay.
Unless
okay.
You know what? No, you know what? I think Rikishi's his dad.
Rikishi's his dad.
Yeah, I think, I'm gonna do my homework. I'm gonna do a little bit of homework. All I know is that he's in the bloodline.
Yeah. They're somehow related.
He's Fatu. He's in the bloodline. But in any case, he's headlining the event. He's got a Houston street fight. And no one does hardcore action in this day and age like GCW.
Yeah, GCW's on another level. Yeah.
So
nice, man. Nice. I'm gonna.
Should be good. Should be good.
Yeah, that should be good, man. They do some reporting on it. Take some pictures, post all that shit.
We're definitely gonna post it on the page for sure.
GCW. That's tomorrow night you mentioned?
Yeah, man. Nice. Friday night.
Nice, my brother. Good stuff, man. Thank you guys for joining us on this On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, episode 58. Catch us on IG, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. We're trying to build the brand. This was a test run for live, right? Next time I'm going to promote live. I'm going to put this out there, but I just need to see if it works. I won't know if it works until I hit the stop button. But we'll see. But thank you guys for joining us. And Lewis, the administrator, it's been a pleasure, my brother.
Peace.
You've been listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at On the Mark Wrestling, and email us at onthemarkpodcast@gmail.com.